Forest Service examination. Hi friends, I'm Vidushi. I have secured the first position in the Indian Forest Service examination 2016 and I have been invited by Dr. Roman Seni to speak a few words regarding the examination and the process. So I will start with explaining what the examination is all about. So the Indian Forest Service examination is conducted in 3 stages. The first is the prelim, the second is the mains, and the third is the interview. So the prelims is common with the civil services, as many of you might be knowing. It's just that the cutoffs are much higher as compared to the civil services. So if you are preparing for the forest services, you'll have to be very focused on the prelims. Secondly, there's the mains. The mains pattern is totally different from what it is there in the civils. The mains consists of a GK paper, an English paper, both of which are for 300 each. Then there are 2 optionals which you have to pick instead of 1. So both the optionals are for 400 each. That comes to a total of 1400. And then the last of all is the interview, which is of 300 marks, the total of which comes to 1700. And I would explain something about the forest service. The forest service is an all-India service, as all of you might be knowing, and it is like both the other all-India services, the IAS as well as the IFS, like the IPS. And the first few years are spent in the state, and you work in the field. And the basic thing which you have to do in the Indian Forest Service is that you have to manage the forests, you have to manage the wildlife, you have to manage the tribals and the NTFP, and you're dealing with at a very grassroots level as you vote in the IAS and the IPS. And you are posted initially as the DFO, then you go on to become the conservator of forest and the CCF, and so on and so forth. It is like the other services, as you can go to the center for deputation, and it is a myth that you can be posted only to the Ministry of Environment and Forest, which is not true, as you can go to the other ministries as well on deputation. And regarding the syllabus, I think you can have a look at the notification which is issued by UPSC. And बुक लिस्ट पे आएँ तो फिर ज़्यादातर लोग जो कि दे रहे होते हैं फॉरेस्ट सर्विस, दे आर ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज. तो GS का पेपर जो है दैट कैन बी कवर्ड ईजिली बाय व्हाट यू आर डूइंग फॉर द सिविल सर्विसेज, एज देयर इज नो अदर स्पेशल प्रेपरेशन रिक्वायर्ड. Regarding the English, I would suggest that you go through all the previous year's question papers, as that can be of immense help once you're going through that. Other than that, when it comes to the optionals, so the optionals here are very important because the optionals are all science subjects. So if you're planning to appear for the forest service, you have to choose your options with a lot of care, as there are 2 optionals. And I am computer science engineer, तो मेरे को 2 optionals लेने की ज़रूरत पड़ी थी, and computer science एक option था नहीं, तो मेरे को botany लेना पड़ा. So I have taken botany and forestry both. And for me personally, I have taken coaching from Evolution, which was in Mukherjee Nagar, regarding both the subjects. So that has suited me well, but it's up to you what you choose. So there are optionals like geology, agriculture, veterinary sciences, engineering में chemical engineering, then you have mechanical, civil, botany, forestry, and बहुत सारे optionals हैं. तो आप उनमें से choose कर लीजिए, but you have to choose them with a lot of care, as basically because they have 800 marks in total, and that makes a lot of difference because current affairs is not a differentiator in this exam, so it has to be all the optionals. Other than that, for botany, if somebody was to ask me, then I have done only the class notes, what has been taught in my coaching classes at Evolution. And with respect to forestry, there are a lot of books available, but I attended classes, so they were of immense help. So if you want to do it by yourself, there are books by Dr. L.S. Khanna, and they're a little hi-fi, but they're good books. Other than that, if you're a little well versed with the concepts of forestry, then you can go in for Manikandan and Prabhu, because it is also a good book and it can help you out. Personally, I did not need to refer to that. So I can speak only regarding my optionals. For other optionals, you might have to do a little research, for which other coaching institutes are there, or you can ask your seniors who have cleared with other optionals, as they can also be of help. Now the thing is that this year the examination, as the prelims are in June and the mains are in December, so there is a lot, and civil services is in October, so there's a lot of time in which you can prepare for the forest services, as there would be 1 full month. So for candidates who are taking the examination this year, I would suggest that first of all focus on the prelims very seriously, because the forest ka cutoff goes at least 15-20 marks higher than what it goes for the civil services, and only 1100 kids are allowed to actually write the mains. So if you can clear the prelims, then clearing the mains becomes a lot easier. तो इस साल अगर आपको देना है तो आप प्लीज़ फोकस करके देना, बिकॉज दिसंबर है, यू विल हैव अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम. अभी तक जो एग्ज़ाम होता था दैट वाज इन बिटवीन द प्रीलिम्स एंड द सिविल सर्विसेज मेंस, सो दैट मेड इट वेरी टफ. So I would suggest कि if you're doing it, do it pretty sincerely, and 1 month is a lot of time, so you there would be a lot of time to study, so it shouldn't be a problem. Other than that, the strategy would be to focus more on the optionals than English again, and choose it with a lot of care, because a lot of times people write the prelims, they get selected for the forest service, and they do not appear for the mains as they have just not chosen the optionals with care. तो पहले से ढंग से चूज़ करना चाहिए, एंड दैट वुड बी रियली हेल्पफुल गोइंग थ्रू द पास्ट ईयर्स क्वेश्चन पेपर्स. एज पास्ट क्वेश्चन पेपर्स के कुछ क्वेश्चंस रिपीट हो जाते हैं, मतलब टाइम टू टाइम दे आर रिपीटेड, सो दैट वुड बी ऑफ इमेंस हेल्प. Other than that, it is very important that you score high in the prelims. Again, I don't think I need to emphasize on that, as it is of immense importance, and the optional should be chosen with care, and they should be something which you have a flair for and which you can handle easily. Other than that, I would like to clarify that if you're not able to clear the prelims for this examination, there is no need to lose heart, simply because for me also this was a third attempt. In the first 2 attempts I could not clear the prelims for the forest service, as I would miss out by 1 mark or 2 marks, and subsequently I would be writing only the civil services mains. So these things are very important. Now when it comes to the interview, I would suggest that if you can just go through something like environment and other concepts related to forest legislation, forest acts, it would be great, because the interview is largely focused on things like environment and the acts which are there, the provisions. And personally, I was asked a number of questions, ranging from wetlands to the Ramsar Convention, to Forest Rights Act, to what are vermins, to anything you can think of. There were a wide variety of questions, ट्राइबल से रिलेटेड थे. तो थिंग इज़ कि इंटरव्यू में जाना है तो फिर यू हैव टू बी वेरी वेल प्रिपेयर्ड, एज देर आर लॉट ऑफ वेरी स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चंस विच आर आस्क्ड. सो आई वुड से दैट प्रीलिम्स क्लियर करो, मेंस दो, एंड देन द इंटरव्यू कैन बी हैंडल्ड if you have even a slight knowledge of the environment, so it is definitely handleable. Other than that, when it comes to the myths related to the examination, I would suggest that also I'm not sure about if the paper is going to be in Hindi or English, but I think it is going to be in English. Hindi might not be an option, though I'm not sure about this, so I would suggest कि आप please पूछ लें. Other than that, I would say that it is very important to realize that forest service people generally do not consider it कि देना भी है इसको, but you need to definitely consider it, and people realize it more after they have faced setbacks in the civil services examination. So this would be great if candidates are preparing for it, so they decide for it early on, as थोड़ा लेट हो जाता है otherwise, and then you tend to lose some chance for the examination. Other than that, the myths associated are that maybe it's a little more tough and you have to take up 2 other optionals, so you can choose the optionals with care, and in the examination hall, considering this time the exam is a little late, you will have time. So I don't think there's any particular thing which you should focus on other than the usual study which you do. And अगर आपका एक optional भी common है आपके civil services से, तो it's a lot easier for you. So that's what I would say is the thing, and all in all, I think it's a great place to be in, because you feel secure, and it's an all India service, so it has all the perks attached of the IAS and the IPS. So I would like to wish success to all the students who are there, and for any questions you can maybe ping me on Facebook. I would be happily answering them. And I would like to say that, like, I'm an educator, so if somebody else wants to impart some sort of a knowledge, then they can download the Unacademy Educator app and impart some knowledge too. Thank you.